Greetings, denizens of the interwebs! Once again, this is Jacob K. Baker of Atomic Stick Figure Productions, and welcome to Tokusatsu Smoke Break. Bite-sized content, all in one take. I was supposed to use that intro this entire time, but I completely forgot it until now. And thank you, James, for coming up with that intro for me. Today I want to discuss the transition of Daizyujin to the Megazord. See, in Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger, instead of the Dinozords and the Megazord, there was the Guardian Beasts, who are robot dinosaur gods. And they would merge together to create Daizyujin. Now, the thing about the Guardian Beasts is that, as I said, they were gods. And whenever they were Daizyujin, they were quite literally God. And that brings up a lot of questions, like, are the different Guardian Beasts like different aspects of Daizyujin's personality? Because they all have their own individual personality. But it's never explained if they're like different elements of Daizyujin's mentality. And Zyuranger is very unusual story-wise because it mixes together a bunch of mythologies and theologies. There's actually various episodes that are actually storylines taken straight from the Bible. I mean, if you look at it, Daizyujin, it, like I said, is God. And the arch nemesis of the series is Dai-Satan, Bandora's boss. And Dai-Satan literally translates to large Satan. So, quite obviously, God versus Satan. Now, whenever the series was imported to the United States and Sabanized the series, that sounded wrong, but that's kind of the term for it, where he just took the action footage from the Japanese version and then interlaid footage filmed with American actors, they changed a lot of that storyline around. And they kind of had to, because this was the early 90s. And back in the 90s, majority of the US was still fairly Christian. So they had to remove a lot of the story elements that stepped on the toes of people who were Christian. So instead of the Guardian Beasts being robot dinosaur gods, they were just turned into robot vehicles and merged together to create the Megazord, which had no personality and was just sort of this giant automaton that was just there for the Rangers to pilot to fight the giant monsters. In the 2017 film, the Zords are essentially what they were in the US version. They were just these vehicles that look like dinosaurs. And then at the end of the film, when they're fighting Goldar and he pushes them down into the crater where the Zeo crystals are, for some unknown reason, they actually combined together to create that version of the Megazord. Now, I'm not that fond of what they did to the Megazord in the 2017 film, because it's essentially, Daizyujin / the Megazord has a very specific look. It looks very cool. It's this big, bulky block type machine. And then in the 2017 film, he looks like a cross-dressing Gypsy Danger. There's no sense of strength in this design. It looks far too scrawny, and it doesn't really look like a Zord, in my opinion. It looks like it would have worked fine in like a Pacific Rim storyline, but definitely not a Power Ranger story. And I thought I actually had a lot more content to talk about in this video, because I'm only almost at 5 minutes. But that's kind of all that I had to say on the subject, just comparing Daizyujin and his weird transformation into the Megazord. So, I'm going to call this video here, because I've actually got to go in fairly soon. So, until the next video, I bid you guys adieu, and I hope that you guys have a blessed evening.